sea makes me feel alive more than anything.
We're going for a swim.
Like, you go in and you're just like, everything, you can have so much going on in your head. Like, you could be stressed about so many other situations that's been happening outside. You can be stressed about lockdown and that you can't go see people. You can be stressed about your uni work or your college work or your like predicted grades or everything. You can be stressed about so many things because no one knows what's going on. And then as soon as you get in the water, you forget that everything that's really stressing you out, and you just go in and you just focus completely on yourself because you're trying to like breathe. You're like, this is freezing, and you're swimming around and you're like, this is fine, it's fine. Your brain just completely blocks everything else out and you focus so much on yourself, and then when you relax into it, you can just lie there and be like, it's okay, I'm okay. And you just feel more alive and you're like, I'm happy to be here, I'm happy to be alive. So, yeah.
The swimming for us changed completely when lockdown happened, is because we became a lot more intentional about doing it. So on our calendar downstairs, we've got like all like the dates, empty calendar, tide times, and like all the high tide times.
It was a routine when there were no other routines.
Yeah, no, our priorities changed completely. It was eating,
exactly.
sleeping, and swimming.
So,
and it was great.
You know, because everything's stripped away, work, uni, seeing friends, being like, okay, at least today I am going to go swim. At least I have something like to get out of bed for, to put clothes on for, to brush my teeth for, even though the sea doesn't need a fresh mouth, but... being frustrated about all the rules and regulations and stuff, it was nice to have something like constant but ever changing. And it also shocks you out of your grump of being inside.
Yeah, you can't be grumpy when you're in the sea.
You can't be grumpy. You're aware.
I've never seen anyone grumpy swimming in the sea. I've never seen that before.
But then you're in the sea and you're like, your first couple of moments you jump in and then you're like, wow, this is really, really cold. And it genuinely is shock therapy, and you have to like get out of your funk and your grump and your annoyance with the world, and you're like, you have to focus on breathing and just living for a couple of seconds, and it's like a slap across the face, really. It's great.
During the first lockdown, we initially started swimming like at our local beach, which isn't something we would ever usually consider.
No.
It's on an estuary, and so it's really muddy and silty. There's like marsh grass coming out of the sea, and it doesn't get very high. No. And so you'll think you're swimming along lovely, la la la, and you stand up and it's like waist deep, and your toes are going into the muddy silt, and you're like, oh damn. Yeah. I think the worst thing about COVID is probably like the fear and like all like everything on social media, and then I think this is why sea swimming is just so great, because it completely strips all that away, and like all the anxiety just gets stripped away, and you forget there's a pandemic, and you can just go into a place where you can just exist, and it doesn't have to be fearful, and there's no comparison and there's no rules.
Yeah.
And it just feels really great to, you sort of enter the water and like your whole body is shocked, but you know it's okay.
There's and there's also loads of like scientific research as to why it's good for you. But when you're in the sea, you kind of forget about it, the scientific research, and you just go, this feels good to me. Like it's...
Yeah, you don't have to justify it.
Yeah, you don't ever have to justify it really. You're in the water and you're like, you know, you turn to your friend or your sister or something and they're there like breathing really deeply, and you're like, yeah,
me too.
Why are we doing this? But it feels so good.
So cold.
I would say swimming connecting us as sisters, it has changed our relationship. I think we've definitely become closer. Like when we went skinny dipping during the summer, that was definitely a bonding experience.
Yeah, exactly.
You're definitely more connected with the natural rhythm of things, because you're consciously keeping keeping a tally on what the tide's doing, on what the weather's doing, and also what stage the moon is at.
Yeah.
And so it's really exciting going outside and knowing what the moon stage is. Like, oh, there's the moon, and you would be like that.
Yeah. It just connects you that little bit more with this world that we're put in, and I think it makes you love it more. It's like, no matter what else you're wearing, hat always goes on.
So I would say that the second lockdown was more frustrating than the first one, because it's because of the weather. There's been less freedom.
I've actually been really excited to swim this second lockdown. I know you said you haven't, but I really, really like the feeling of coming out and being like, whoa, I'm alive. And just, that rush, I guess. Rush of blood to your body everywhere. That finger's come back. Whew.
I think for me, it definitely makes me feel more settled, and suddenly when you're in the moment, you're right there and you're alive, and nothing really matters except being alive.
I also never regret going in. Every single time it's just what you need, which is really fun. It's great to always have that. Without sounding too dramatic about it, it feels like a friend. It's in the way that it is always there, and it's a beautiful settler.
Yeah, I think definitely it's helped me feel a lot more connected to our location, and like it definitely roots you every time. Yeah, you feel grounded every time you go to the sea.